Alright, another Saturday night horror review. Mr. Creepshow 9. I got Elmid back with me for the first time in months here. And yes, we're doing the Class of Nuke High from 1986. This is a hardcore Lloyd Kaufman production from Troma. Now, this is 2 years after The Toxic Avenger, which came out in 1984, which features the janitorial nerd who falls in the toxic waste bin and becomes essentially a superhero. And then Lloyd Kaufman's like, all right, let's just poison a whole high school.
Do some 80s effects.
Throw in the punk rock theme throughout and
throw in some punkers, throw in some special effects where people melt. And,
God, I hate punkers.
And we got a movie.
And so this, tell them the premise, Elmid.
Okay, Nuke High. There's a nuclear plant that essentially has a spill of nuclear waste, and it gets to the water supply, and it goes to the high school, and everybody's acting like it's all okay, even though people are dying all around them.
Right. This is like a double lampoon on the scuzziness of New Jersey, because they already freaking diss New Jersey for being so dirty. I mean, New Jersey is really known as the armpit of the USA. I mean, New York, with its metropolitan area, takes a huge shit on that state with all their waste and whatnot, and New Jersey actually has 100+ toxic waste dumps in the state alone, more than any other state in the US.
Yeah, but they got green gardens and farms.
No, that's a myth. But, so, once this waste plant malfunctions and it taints the water supply.
The whole time the chief, or the guy that runs the plant, Mr. Patney or whatever, Patman or something, or whatever that his name.
No one cares.
Anyways, the whole time he's like, no.
It's just your classic cover-up.
He's like, keep it running. No, I don't want the commission to come down here and shut us down. He's like, keep the power going. I don't care if it's one little spill, even though it's a major spill. Sort of like the Flint water crisis.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Michigan.
No, but they really do. They really satiate your craving for gore, and there's copious goo and ooze throughout. I mean,
like the first kill.
The cleanup for this, right? Just the sheer amount of time and messiness that this
into the 80s props of melting and oozing and pussing and.
Right, just to do that alone probably just took forever to film.
Yeah, they had to call Taxi to clean it up.
And let's get to the main characters here. So, eventually they kind of flow into this where the honor society turns into punk rockers, and they call them the Cretans here. And this is a picture of them. You see this guy with the nose ring?
Yeah, nose rings are coming back nowadays.
Yeah, it's 2016. And I see more and more people with these nose rings.
And you're like, how the heck do they have a job?
More like, why do they even have it, period? I mean, it's just awful.
Because it's hip, it's cool.
But
anyways, the Cretan gang that were part of the Honor Society, they all get radioactive out of their mind and start being assholes to everybody. So they're like the bad gang of the school.
Right. So
it basically revolves around a boyfriend and girlfriend as the main characters.
So it goes into this cycle of a Troma farce where they just scene after scene of silliness, and
Geek dies in the first scene,
and you don't even know who to follow or who the main characters is.
School continues on even though a kid just died, and then they go to a nuclear plant that had the spill, and they got weed growing there, so the weed's tainted with radioactive jizz, and they start selling it to everyone, and everyone who smokes it starts getting sick and turning into nuke.
And this is where we
zombies
come into our two main characters, and they're going out. They're in the flirtatious period where they haven't really copulated and consummated their relationship. So they go to prom or some shit like that.
Some party, even though it's totally unrealistic.
They start smoking, and then they finally do it because it has an aphrodisiac effect.
I guess if you take radiation from a nuclear plant, you get a boner or something.
Right. It's the ultimate aphrodisiac.
Yeah,
I mean,
better than chocolate.
It's as if Aphrodite had mixed it herself. And so this results in a prom night dumpster baby.
Wait a minute, no, a taxi baby.
Yeah, prom night taxi
baby.
And
but she spits it out though. It's not born or anything. It goes to the toilet. and later on travels through the pipes into a radioactive vat in the basement or whatever, and turns into the monster that we see at the end. But anyways, leading up to that,
right. So
like
this
the boyfriend, like that joint kicks in finally later on. He gets sick from it.
So this creature has like an enhanced growth spurt where he falls into the nuclear waste bin through the drain, and then that cultivates him to the point where he just becomes this paradigmatic 80s monster where he's just slithering and dripping,
kind of like the mother
goo.
alien in Alien.
Yes, totally inspired. And
but leading up to that, though, the boyfriend gets finally infected and starts changing and oozing out of his ear, and like these guys, the Cretans, like rob some granny, and then like he meets them to like beat them all up and jack them because he knows that they're doing evil and selling these joints that are poisoned. And it's a pretty sweet scene though when he fights them and he's all oozing and puffing out of his mouth and his ears and crap.
So they go on and on. They got motorcycles
inside.
Amazing
graphics. Amazing.
So they got motorcycles inside the fucking high school and a bunch of other random shit.
Yeah. They finally get expelled, even though they're like bad and retarded, and guys always walk around with a bone. Anyways, the Cretans, and they finally get expelled. So then they come back with guns and everything and take over the school and kidnap the main character's girlfriend to like get him back inside to kill him. And then it's filler for 15 minutes of them just riding around motorcycles and messing up the school and spray painting and da-da-da-da. One character of the Cretans got boobs, and he's like a guy with like black lipstick, and it's like totally retarded.
And the corrupt power plant owner, he finally gets his. He goes into the high school for like no reason at all.
I know, it's pretty, it doesn't even make any sense. He's just there to be like, oh, there ain't nothing going on.
And then they throw in a laser gun through like science club in there where he like zaps the creature or something.
And that's how the creature dies, like, because he's in school and there's a little laser gun in shop class, which, you know.
But of course he doesn't really die.
There's some cool 80s effects.
It spawns other creatures.
The one where they do like the psychedelic like colors at some points when they're like after they first smoke it and they're like get sick in their bed. And remember, it does the vibrant colors and the changes.
Yeah.
It's some pretty cool effects, and you know.
I mean, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
It's trauma.
It's entertaining for the farce part too, where like the radioactive people will be there testing with their kits, and it'll be off the charts, and the guy will just shake his head.
So we saw this on the El Rey network, and I think it might be on Troma's channel on YouTube. Troma does have a channel on YouTube where they've actually released a lot of their original B-movie horror movies. And if you've ever seen a Troma movie, you obviously know how silly they can be. And
yeah, I gotta get one. He's like a total gang cretin, and freaking, he's got like a thing of books like tied to him. Like, yeah, he's going to school, even though he's like a total hellion. Like he does his homework or reads them.
What's your final grade? Let's sum this up.
Let's sum it up. Backing out. For the comedy, it's watchable. I mean, would I watch it again? Yeah, in a long time, years, later. But good 80s effects.
It turned into a series, of course, where they did sequels, which I have no plan on watching.
The 80s filler sucks at the end, but it's a good story and it's watchable, and you can laugh and enjoy the effects.
I heard they have a possessed, like, zombie squirrel in the sequels that gets infected, and I'm sure the fatuousness is just amped up.
Does it turn to like the character from freaking like the golfer and Caddyshack, where he always shows up in the second one? Remember the second one? It's like all about the golfer and it's freaking retarded.
Yes, it's a rehatching where Dan Aykroyd plays that character.
So in Nuke in the sequel, it's just a
cheap imitation.
It's the radioactive squirrel, like always popping up everywhere. I don't know.
Anyway,
and what do you think about it? How good was Class of
Nuke? I give it for what it is, knowing that it's a horror comedy, emphasis on comedy.
Give me an A.
B-.
A B-. Okay.
But for the effects get a B+, maybe even in the A range. Anyway, this is JBM and Elmid for Mr. Creepshow 9. Tune in every Saturday. I try to do a review. I can't always do it, but that's usually when I release my videos, Saturday nights, different horror reviews, and give me a recommendation if you want, and I'll see if I can get if I can procure the movie and watch it, I'll review it for you. And we're out. Thanks for